Hey, my friend, it's Keith Kelfis. Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast. This episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. I was invited to be a keynote speaker at the Synced Live event in Atlanta recently, and they wanted me to talk about social media marketing and how to basically automate. How do you do all these videos and automate all the social media and use virtual assistants to help you? And I've really done that. I know how to do all that. I have a whole team of virtual assistants that help me in the marketing of my business, and I built my social media and this podcast. It's an entire, basically, secondary business and platform that also inspires people online. Like my videos and podcasts help inspire emerging entrepreneurs to start and grow their service business from 0 to 100K and beyond with my videos and my business building programs. And now I'm getting invited to speak at events and talk about how I've done that. So if you're interested in learning how to create videos online, either to market your actual business, or maybe you have a secret desire to, maybe you want to make videos or start your own podcast so you can start to teach other people what you've done, or you want to inspire other people, well, the podcast here at the Untrapped Podcast, we've just crossed 700,000 downloads. We've got over 80 million views online altogether with downloads and everything. My YouTube channel is about to cross 150,000 subscribers. So I know what I'm talking about because I'm obsessed with it. So listen to my keynote talk here. And at any time, if you want to open up your browser and you want to learn how to do this stuff yourself, I'm coming out with some powerful new programs soon here. One of them is going to be called Virtual Assistant Mastery. It's going to teach you how to basically hire and attract virtual assistants to help you run the media pillar of your business. And then some other programs talking about how to actually launch your social media. So anyways, at any time, open up your browser and type in keithkelfis.com/influence, and you can get my MPP model, which is my marketing progression pyramid. But in this live keynote talk, I'm going to teach you my POPP method, which is passion over pressure to peacock. So what I mean is, if you want to take out your phone or your GoPro or your camera and you want to make a dope video, whether it's to market your actual landscaping or service business, or maybe you want to inspire other people, you're going to have this pressure that comes up that you're going to have to overcome with passion. Sorry, if you hear me, I'm on an actual landscaping job right now. There's dogs barking, there's people walking past, there's birds chirping, my employees are talking, there's squirrels all over the place. This is real. So listen to this keynote talk. I hope you enjoy it. And then go to keithkelfis.com/influence. Enjoy.
Keith Kelfis was one of the first people that I watched on YouTube. There was the Lawn Care Millionaire. There was the Landscaping Employee Track. There's a few others early on when I started my business 10 years ago. And I just was researching my business, and then I found YouTube by default because Google recommends videos. And I'm like, look at this. There's like guys posting regular stuff. There's comments. There's a little community. And that's how it all started for me. But Keith was one of those first, the OGs of that, right along with the Lawn Care Millionaire. So I have gotten to know Keith for many, many years, as everyone else that has come up on stage. So I'm very appreciative of Keith taking the time to come out here. Of course, he loves doing this, so it's a win-win for everybody. So, Keith Kelfis.
What's up?
Ready? Let's go, Keith. Come on.
I'm up on here. What's up?
What's going on?
Thanks, man.
You ready?
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I got to take these off. All right, good. Thanks. All right, what's up, everybody? Let me turn this on. Mics are good. Check, check. All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much. So what I'm doing is practicing what I'm preaching. Like, if you want to speak, if you want to do anything, there's however you want to interpret being maybe embarrassed or feeling humiliated or stupid or all the stuff that we grew up saying that you're not supposed to do and you're supposed to be mindful. And there has to be a party. I'm going to cuss quite a bit when I get emotional, but there's a part of your brain that has to not give a shit. And it's not like you become sociopathic or crazy, but you have a mission and you have to do what you have to do. So I've walked around, if I do like a big conference, I hire a videographer to come, like 2 of them, and then they'll just take care of everything. And it doesn't matter, but like I've got cameras set up documenting everything because it'll go on YouTube or it'll go inside of an online course, but it's repurposing it infinitum. So it's like a cloning machine. You can take anything and pull the lever of social media and now get way way bigger dramatic results. So I'm super excited and thankful, and I honor all of you guys to be here right now, and also thousands of people online that will see the same exact thing. Whether you want to leverage it into, let's say, getting views or marketing your business, or maybe you want to film an online course or do a podcast, you're always thinking of the bigger picture. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had to tell myself in my landscaping business, when I was so obsessed with social media and getting my message out, like I would repeat to myself on the way to job sites and in the morning, videotaping is more important than working. Videotaping is more important than working. Videotaping is, which sounds insane. So I had to find a way to get the guys set up and get them working and take care of the customer, get everything set, and then start making the social media content. And I would also say, when I hire new employees and they sign everything and sign the social media release form, I'd let them know up front, listen, I'm crazy. You'll have all the tools you need. I'll teach you. I'll train you how to do it, if you know. But you might see me disappear. I'll be doing a quote. Then you'll see me back like an hour later running around holding a camera up making a video. Then you might see me with a videographer. Then I'll be doing this. Don't mind any of that. Or if you want to be in the videos, that's cool. But I'm going to be all over the place doing like 20 different things. And if that's cool, so I didn't want them to think that, like, what's this maniac doing? Because I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I was going to do it, period. And there is a line that you had to like eventually draw of being respectful on people's properties and make sure you're getting media release forms and building it into your contracts. And just basically what you're saying and not saying, and being mindful and not having street addresses and people's license plates and not talking about your clients, because you might have a video get 40,000 views and then it's like Mrs. Jones's nephew sees it or something. He's like, oh, wait, that's my Aunt Martha's house. Sends it to Aunt Martha and she's like, wait a second. That's my backyard. That's my barbecue grill. Why is this douchebag, who I thought was my lawn care guy that I trusted, he's shooting videos in my backyard? What's he talking about? And so it's like it kind of could go down a rabbit hole. So then when I'm talking about drawing that respectable line in the sand, I make sure in the videos that it's like always keeping that top of mind, and you know the difference between right and wrong and what you say, what you don't say. But kind of the reality of social media is if you talk about polarizing things and you become very polarized and you say things that are polarizing, you're going to have a lot more people viewing you and liking you a lot faster, and you're going to also have people who disagree. So polarizing content, however dramatic you want to take that, is the stuff that's going to be the difference, that makes a difference if you want to grow on social media. It was a few years ago, I met a guy named Brian Fullerton, actually paid me and hired me to like coach him to get all his stuff on. We sell online courses and information products and ebooks. He wanted to get into that business, so I coached him through that, and he said something to me in exchange. He's like, you know how much you cuss, right, on your social media? And I was like, well, yeah, a lot. He's like, you're probably costing yourself at least $100,000 in brand deals per year back then. I was like, but I got to be me. I got to be real to me. He's like, well, you could do whatever you want, but if a big box brand is looking at you, like we've been sponsored by like Lowe's and a bunch of different brands. We work with 21 different brands right now. I'm actually reducing that amount because we're scaling up, but I was like, oh my God, if Lowe's wants to do a sponsorship brand deal with me and they're checking me out and then they see this guy saying, motherfucker, fuck, that doesn't really go too good with their brand. So I had to think about that, and you got to do you. Like I say, well, Gary Vaynerchuk cusses. People are like, well, you're not Gary Vaynerchuk. So how much can you afford to have an opinion and say what you want to say? So what I'm going to run you through is a video. I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm really excited. I want to do a bunch of Q&A at the end and really get a gauge of where everybody's at, because I really want to just help as much as possible. So you can learn all the stuff about social media, about YouTube. You can learn video analytics and data. And Jeremy Vest here yesterday blowing my mind, and I was sitting up front going, oh, because I was seeing how you could just cut out all the fat and do what works and not do what doesn't. All of that stuff doesn't matter if you don't have something you're highly passionate about that cuts through the mix. Your passion is the difference that makes the difference. And if you don't have the passion, let's say you have a lawn and landscaping business and you want to get super high quality content that will engage very specific customers that want to spend money now, it would be your customer avatar. Maybe you would want to do case study video testimonials and get some nice cameras and lighting and setup and find Mr. and Mrs. Jones who are like 58 years old. They have master's degrees. They live in a $750,000 house. They're your perfect customer. and you want to get permission from them and get the conversation and bring a camera crew maybe to their backyard, or it would probably have to be outdoors. I have a friend, Steve DeHunt in Michigan, he's built an entire indoor landscaping exhibit in his shop, and it's bonkers. It's probably like $250,000 just for this exhibit. So you would do it like outdoors and do a video testimonial of them just sharing their natural experience about your business. Good microphone, good lighting, real, and something like that. When the customers go online that are your perfect customer and they see the perfect customer who's happy with your services, whether they've done, spend 10 or 20 grand with some lawn and snow, or they spend 150 grand on a luxury outdoor living space, when they see the social proof of somebody else saying that they like it, and it's in the geographic area, the zip code, it's like the houses match, all the marketing matches, and then you run that, you get your customer list with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, email marketing, and you put it right in front of them, it's proof in advance. So you can do that type of marketing at a high level with videos to get tons of more work in your business. The reason I'm saying all this is because I'm kind of drawing a line between social media marketing and building a personal brand, or actually building your business with social media marketing. A lot of the rules apply, but they're completely different facets in space, and they're different types of messaging. It's a different messaging ecosystem. If your customers come on your YouTube channel and they see you talking about like, yeah, dog, we getting it out here, that might not resonate and they won't understand. I have had a lot of customers call. They saw the videos, they love the videos, they want to hire us because they like that Keith Kalfas guy. And I've come out and the customers have walked up to me and be like, I just knew you were the dude. Like, we've gotten work from it. I don't know if this is... Yeah, my friend Eric Reno, he's down the street because there's a boxing thing going on in the roofing. These two guys are about to beat the crap out of each other in a couple hours. Anyways, I wanted to make it to that, but this is more important in Atlanta. He started his YouTube channel, and I helped him get started a few years ago. The dude sold $1 million roofing contract off his roofing channel, and I was pissed. I was like, bro, I've been doing YouTube for like 8 years. But that's how powerful YouTube is when you position yourself as an expert, as basically the obvious choice. So do you want that, or do you want to get into social media marketing and become an influencer and build your personal brand online? Maybe you have a message you want to share with the world. You have a message burning in your heart so deeply, and you want to put that out to the world and help change people's lives, get people off of drugs and alcohol and prevent suicides and save marriages and help people start businesses and bring people to Christ. Maybe that's your calling and message. So if you draw a clear line and you develop your messaging, that'd be a completely different type of YouTube channel, right? So I've been invited to speak on stages around the country talking about this stuff, and I've had to get really clear about the way that I communicate it so I don't kind of mess that up. So I want to survey everybody real quick. Who here wants to make videos or learn about social media marketing to get really good at it so you can market your actual business? Or like, raise your hand. Okay. Now, who here is interested in building a personal brand and starting like your own podcast and maybe monetizing your message and all that? Anybody both? Okay, awesome. Because I can talk about the journey of starting a personal brand and then stalling, because it's really freaking hard to run a landscaping business and deal with employees and customers and all of that and do social media at the same time. I mean, you're up till 3 o'clock in the morning running both businesses. It affects your marriage, your personal life, your health. You burn out. And then it's like, this guy's supposed to be some influencer. Why has he got bags under his eyes in the videos? And he's like, bro, we got this. So this is real. I said that because there's a certain point when whatever you're doing in this media shit, you have to find a way to monetize it with integrity and legitimately. Because there are people in our industry that can blow up and get these viral videos and they start getting brand deals and doing all these things. If you see somebody else making a bunch of money on the internet or they claim to make money, how are they making it? Is it a long-term, economically viable, sustainable way of making money? Is it rooted in integrity? Is it something that's going to last? And are they aware of that? So I'm obsessed with this stuff because integrity is number one. It's staying true to yourself, true to what is best for your family, true to your message and your mission. But the money sustains the message. It was this super viral YouTuber guy. He's a genius. His name is Greg Chisholm, Geek to Freak back in the day. There's people who know about his story. In the beginning when I got on YouTube, dude, the first day YouTube came out in 2004, I was uploading videos. I was literally running around vlogging in 2004, being like, why would somebody watch this? This is insane. But it was all about nothing. We were shooting music videos. We were making music. I was standing on stages in front of people singing, trying to become a pop star. But I took all that kind of marketing media knowledge and just literally took out my smartphone and started making videos about how to start a landscaping business. But here's how. I was researching on YouTube saying, like I typed in how to start a landscaping business or how to start a lawn care business, and nobody popped up except for some dude way back in the day. What was his name? Was the Lawn Gopher from 2008. Yeah. And then there was this nerdy dude, Jonathan Potoshnik, the lawn care millionaire. I'm just playing. And then there was like a couple other people, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a wide open space? How is this not completely saturated right now? And so I took this course. It was like a $2,000 course called a Guru Home Study Course by Eben Pagan. It was all about internet marketing. And he said, basically, go look in the mirror and claim, and you're going to do all the work, and say, within this amount of time, I'm going to be the #1 ranking keyword, my name relevant to a specific keyword online. So I looked in the mirror. It was like winter of 2013. I said, in 24 months, the name Keith Kalfas is going to be the #1 word synonymous with the word landscaping on YouTube, period. And that happened within 10 to 12 months. I went nuts. I took 2 phones, my wife's phone, the tablet, the laptop, and I was making anywhere from 1 to 10 videos a day, just nonstop, all winter long. Like every single time the inspiration came through me, I was pulling out my phone. Videotaping is more important than working. Just every single thing all over the internet, and hashtag, the title, keyword, everything. Landscaping, 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 a thumbnail, how to start a landscape, and literally nonstop. The video started taking off. I hit 100 subscribers. I was like, oh my God, I hit 100 subscribers. Then there's this thing called the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Much respect and honor to anybody who has ALS or anything. But my friend who worked for me, he was a friend who worked for me. He's like, I have this idea, bro. There's this guy named Geek to Freak, and there's a couple people. You should challenge them. So there's an underlying tone of what I'm talking about if you listen to what I'm saying, if you really want to have your stuff take off online. And you should challenge them online. So somebody challenged me. We lived in this like crummy apartment complex. There's neighbors all over the place. It was like a U-shaped apartment complex. So if you're standing outside and all the neighbors are looking, they can see you. It's nighttime. I said, I'm doing this. I went and got all my crappy video lights and extension cords. I started running them down the steps because we were at the 2nd story, and I'm putting lights up and I'm setting up my cameras, phones. Wife, give me your phone, all over the place. And now the neighbors are coming out. They're like they knew I was the landscaper. They knew but they didn't know me that well. They're like, what is he doing? And now they're pulling out chairs and shit, and people are watching me. And I'm like, oh, what did I get myself into? But I just kept going, right? So I got the ice in the bucket and everything. I think my dad was he there too? Anyways, my dad's like, oh my God, what is he doing? My son is nuts. So I literally did this whole charade, and there's lights on me. All the neighbors are looking, and I dumped the water on my head, and I challenged people. And then I was really nervous and insecure. And after I did it, everybody was like, when they just went back in the house, I wrapped everything up, edited the video, and put it on YouTube, and then it got traction. There's another time. We're on this job site. It's a commercial property for a steakhouse. One of my favorite clients for like over a decade. It's a big parking lot. We'd get there in the morning before all the cars showed up for this restaurant. So the parking lot had yellow lines and parking lines like a parking lot. It's an actual parking lot with yellow lines. So the guys start with like a spring cleanup, and they're working. We're getting mulch delivered. And as I looked at the lines on the parking lot, I had this vision about life. I was really going through some tremendous breakthroughs and breakdowns and growing out of like childhood bullshit of being poor and negative programming. And I was thinking about integrity, and I was praying a lot. And when I saw the lines on the parking lot, I saw the parking lines, but there's one long yellow line that goes all the way through all of it. I was like, oh my God, in life, if you want to get somewhere, you have to walk a line. And then these parking spaces, those are like distractions you can go down that lead to dead ends. And you got to walk. And this feeling came through me. Listen to my undertone here of what I'm sub-communicating. Oh my God, I got to make this video now. I got the guys set up. I got the fucking Sony camera, and I took it out, and I was literally taking off the backpack. What's up? I'm Keith Kalfas. If you want to make it in life, you got to be a good man, and you got to walk the line. So now, and I used the entire parking lot as a prop. So I was like, you see these lines right here? You're walking, and then you know you have a goal that you want to get, but then there's this distraction. It's a detour in life. And you're like, I'm going, oh shit, dog. Oh shit. And you walk down here, but it ends up in a dead end. And you're like, what do I do now? I have to climb out of this hole and ask for repentance. I got to pray. I got to work my way back and get back on my path. And then you think you're good again. Then, oh shit, you get sucked into a shitty relationship or something. So I did this whole thing. I was aware in my head that there were people driving by on Van Dyke, which is like the main road. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? The owners of the restaurant could have been like, is this guy schizophrenic? My employees are like, they just knew what I was doing. But in my head, I knew that the emotion and the inspiration had captured me. And I was in what would appear to be a manic state, just like I am right now. But I consciously chose to go with it and keep going and going and going, and built this force field around me that I didn't care. So later on, I walk into a restaurant. It's my wife's family. I've quit doing this since now. And I literally walk into the restaurant, what up, though? And people are like, who's this? And I didn't care. And so after a few months of this shit, my wife is like, Keith, I went to work today, and your videos are getting around, and people were asking me if you were okay. Like, they wanted to have an intervention with me. And I was like, what? So now I was getting heat from people. They thought I was mentally unstable because they didn't see the vision that I had. I was crazy, but I was crazy on fire with a passion and a vision that I had to suspend that shame and all that stuff. I feel it right now as I'm talking about it, coming in, wanting me to crawl and be like, oh, what am I doing? I'm on the stage in front of all these people, acting so weird, blah, blah, blah. That's that voice, that critic, whoever that critic is. So you take that critic. Sometimes the critic's very smart. If you're like in a proper place, there's a time and place, but there's a line. And when you ride that line, if you have to make a dope ass video, my wife's grandfather passed away, and I didn't know my wife's Chaldean. I know that, but I didn't know that they have 14-hour long funerals, and that's the short version. So it's like, we've been at the funeral all day. It's like 7:30 p.m. and we're still there. And like the men and the women are all separated, and the Chaldean men are here. I'm with the Chaldean men, and I go to talk to my wife, and they're like, no, get back. And I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know this. So I had to go outside and get some fresh air. And I'm in the parking lot in like a suit, and I'm like, well, I'm going to make a dope video about how to start a business. So I'm outside in the parking lot making the video. Nobody on YouTube would have known where I was at or why. But I knew that I was at my grandfather's funeral. He was this man, this old Chaldean man. I went to him before he passed away, and I held his hand, and I said, I love Jesus, and I love your granddaughter. No matter what, I would do God's work until my death. And he says, good man. And he kissed my hand, bro. This man was so powerful. Like, I looked at the footage, and I was like, dude, I deleted the video, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, kind of ashamed of myself that I let that overtake me. So when I mean, like, there's a time and place for things, it's important. Maybe you can write that down, that inspiration. So the theme here that I'm talking about is, if you want to even use your business and market videos on your business, you have to be okay with setting up chairs in somebody's backyard and maybe hiring a video crew and being part of this thing you're not used to. And the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and the more you stay in the moment and understand why you're doing it, is the more reason that it will work. And once you get about 100 videos underneath your belt, they can start to get better and better and better. But if there's no passion, if you can't get yourself to stay in the moment and go with it, like I knew when I was out there kind of preparing for this, if at any time I stopped being engaged, how do I say this? This is real, everything I'm saying, but it's also kind of bullshit. Because if I just was just standing here and I was like showing you some data and analytics on YouTube, and then you're like falling asleep, that's not connected to the dream. I could do this shit all day. I could show you so much data. I could tell you how we've automated the business. We have like a bunch of virtual assistants, and I pretty much just have to stand in front of a camera or a microphone, and I've got a 6-figure internet business that it's like the laptop lifestyle, or whatever they call it. Like, I've watched my dreams come true because of this. but it's because I stayed connected to the dream. So staying connected to the dream is what propels you through all the boring shit to make you do it. Are you okay, bro?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I looked over at him and he's like, come on, get to the good stuff. All right. I want to tell you another story of a couple different videos I did, because that one video of the walk the line in the parking lot, that got like, I don't know, 350,000 views between YouTube and Facebook. There's another video that I did a few years ago in Home Depot. I mean, we put out 8 to 12 pieces of content a day on social media. We're putting out content constantly. And so the virtual assistants and the editors, they're doing it and chopping it up and putting it on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. But this other video, I'm in Home Depot, and I told the story of how I started my landscaping business. And this went on to get 2.3 million views, maybe 2.5 collectively. I'm just using my smartphone. No fancy cameras, none of that crap. So as I'm in Home Depot shopping, and I even had a mask, so this was like the end of COVID. This feeling came through me, now, strike where the iron's hot, and the emotion came up. It was an inspiration. And then I knew that was the moment to make a video telling my story, because the emotion was right and I had to capture it. So if I told myself, no, I can't do this, this is weird, I'm in Home Depot, video never would have happened. So my videos have helped start. I've collectively, around all the testimonies, somewhere around 10,000 businesses. I've been all over the country and I have people coming up to me all the time and say, bro, that video you made was the video that made me like cry or start a business or help me get off drugs or something. And I'm like, bro, all glory to God. You did it, bro. And thanks for me being obedient to that feeling. Maybe it's God, maybe it's intuition. But if I was afraid to look weird, or for some people who are never going to see me again, those videos wouldn't have happened. So I tell my wife in the middle of the night when I get up at 3 a.m., I have to make this video. She was like, why? I just have to make the video. So when I've got this agreement with her, when I got to do that, I got to do that, because it literally helps start businesses and saves people's lives. So I'm at Home Depot and I see a shovel, and it reminded me of this time. So I can act it out, the whole damn thing, or I can play the video. I don't know, what do you want?
Play the video. Both.
Both? Here,
Act it out while the video is playing.
no, I can't do that. So I've got the mask on off my face, and I'm like, I just take out my phone, not a $5,000 camera or an FX30 with lenses, and it's just my phone. And I say, you know, back when I was in my 20s, I'll just take out my phone. Back when I was in my 20s, I had a bunch of dead-end jobs and I really wanted to start a business. And I met this guy who was a multi-millionaire, and he was worth like $27 million. And he told me, and I want you guys to do this, this is your homework, you got to tell your story. He told me that, because I told him I wanted to start a business, and I luckily got to go hang out over this guy's house for like half a day, and he had like horses and shit and a mansion, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. And I told him I wanted to start a business, and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, if you want to start a business, this guy was like in his late 50s. He was like a rich boomer, and he's like, go to Home Depot and get a fucking shovel and start knocking on doors. And now I'm thinking like, this guy's crazy. He's just trying to like be showboaty, knock on doors. Dude, this guy's an asshole, right? But then I kept thinking about that as I went to work at my dead-end landscaping job where I was a foreman. I hated my life. I was trapped. I'm like, man, that guy's insane. So this was a few weeks later. We're doing these garden beds for this HOA property. And I was like a horticulturalist, and I'm doing landscaping, garden maintenance, pruning, everything. And I'm kicking this shovel. And even though I had steel-toe boots, my feet and toes were literally covered in bruises for just being out there in the sun. Huh?
Is that how you do your edging?
Well, there's many ways you can.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
No, because there is a video where someone was critiquing my edging. And I made another video. I was like, bitch, I've been doing this for blah, 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 blah. And that became one of my most viewed videos. So I was pissed. As I was kicking the shovel, all of a sudden this feeling came through me, and these epiphany bridges that only happen maybe once every few years. But instead of feeling coming through me, all the feeling drained out of my body, the emotion of everything that I've been holding on to, being terrified and hating my life in that dead-end job because I needed the money, I had to pay bills. And all of a sudden, I literally just dropped the shovel and it fell on the ground. So I'm at Home Depot holding the shovel, and I dropped the shovel on the ground, and I'm like in Home Depot, and I'm talking about this, and all of a sudden I just stood there, and I knew that I was done. And I talked about my friend Joshua Latimer, who's coached like over 1,000 business owners. He owns multiple 7-figure businesses. He's just done all types of cool shit. And he knows the psychology of somebody he says, I know instantly when I'm talking to someone, like within 5 minutes, if they're really going to do it or they're just going to keep being a victim. And he's right. So there was some guy he was on the phone with. He's like, dude, I've been doing my business for so many years. I'm so burned out. I can't grow through it. I don't know what to do. I can't do this one more year. I'll literally die. And Joshua Latimer, saying this in the video, Joshua Latimer says, bro, don't bullshit me. You could do this for 10 more years. You think yet you're done, and you think, but you could actually suffer for 10 more years and be saying the same shit 10 years from now. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sign up for the coaching or do whatever you do and grow your business, or are you going to keep being a bitch? He didn't say that. I said that. So I'm seeding and threading in all these things with emotion that people go through. And I said, in that moment, I realized, and I started crying in the video, when I dropped the shovel, I realized that 5 years had gone by and I was already fucking dead. I was already dead inside because I thought starting a business with no money was a risk. But I realized that I was already taking the biggest risk of all because I was losing in life. And if I just started something, it would be better than this shit show of a life. And tears dripped down my face in the video. And that was the moment I went out of the back of my wife's car. I didn't give a fuck anymore, dude. I started posting ads on Craigslist. I went and started pulling people's weeds, and every day I'd get off work, and then I would get off work and go straight to landscape jobs till I couldn't see 7 days a week, and I freed myself out of that shit show and started my own fucking business. And so at the end of the video, it just came up. I was like, that's how I started my own landscape business, and you want to know how I did it? I went and I picked up the shovel. I went to Home Depot, and I picked up a fucking shovel, and I started knocking on doors, and I ended the video. And that shit went on and got millions of views. And the reason it did it is because I was so raw, I was so authentic and genuine, and I was crying out with my heart, telling the truth of basically the journey that a hero goes through of being trapped and then really wanting to go for something and the bottom falling out and it getting worse. And I talked about how when time goes on, you realize that you're actually dying inside and you're watching your life go by and nothing is changing. So you got to reach deep down inside of yourself and pull that shit out and pull that passion out and just fucking man up and go face your fears and do it. And then when you do that, you get the rewards for it. So there's that sub-communication that happens when you do that. Now, I believe that we're all built differently, but every single one of you have a message inside of you, you have a mission, you have something, a mandate. And if you can communicate that in a podcast or your video and make that kind of like your mission statement. I inspire emerging entrepreneurs to start and grow their landscaping business from 0 to 100K with my inspirational videos and business building programs with no money, no startup money. We've thought that out now, and that's kind of like my mission. And so I think about this. I was so sick of making these landscaping videos. We've made 2,800 landscape videos. I have 6 YouTube channels. And I was like, I don't want to make any more landscaping videos. But I was like, you know what? Maybe that's my mission right now is to lay down and let people walk across my back. And that's me serving people at a high level. And the more that I do it, I say, yeah, but man, I'm like insecure because I see these other guys that have built these $3, $4, $5 million businesses, like Potoshnik, Jeremiah Jennings. I looked at him. So you look at these people that have multi-million-dollar businesses, and you might feel like, well, how can I make videos or talk about what I know? And so there's this whole guru positioning trifecta thing. How can I say? Basically, you only have to know a little bit more than the person that's behind you. And as long as you're not bullshitting or lying, because the next thing I want to talk about is integrity. Don't ever talk about some shit that you don't know, because if you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie to cover it up, and another lie, and then you got yourself weaved in a bunch of lies. As soon as you feel that thing come up your compass that points to true north, if it goes off a little bit, you better course correct real fucking quick. I hired a videographer. Well, he's my video guy now, but a few years ago, we started cranking out these crazy, fun, epic videos, and he's like a director. This guy, he's a music artist. He's traveled all over the country. He's been on BET Freestyle Fridays, like #1 weeks in a row. He's done tours, so he's in the entertainment business. and he also helps me with my videos. So how can I say this? He encourages me to elaborate things for the sake of entertainment. And we always kind of get in these arguments where I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking do that. I don't want to do that. He's like, why? It's entertainment. If we don't, and he starts pacing around. He's like, if we don't do this, how is it gonna? And I was like, I can't do this. So it's nothing crazy or extreme. It's just like, we have this idea. I started a window cleaning business from nothing, the whole window cleaning side of the business, in the middle of the freezing winter. Snowplow wasn't making enough money back in the beginning. And I went out in the freezing cold and I sold 42 window cleaning accounts in 48 hours by knocking on doors and pitching, and built a whole window cleaning route. And it was terrifying, and I got enough cash to pay the bills. And so we had this idea, we were gonna start filming this. I was gonna go sleep in my friend's bunker. It's like literally like a train storage box in the freezing cold, and go fire up my old shitty truck and go out in the freezing cold and film this documentary. And I was like, not to get too personal, my wife isn't cool with me just leaving and doing this crazy shit. I got a family, I gotta be home. He's like, but we gotta fucking do this for real. And so he's like, well, we could just kind of like go through all the struggles you go through for real doing this, and then we'll just stay there one night and we'll film it and act it out. I was like, we could actually do that, but it would be fake. He's like, but dude, it's like reality TV. And he talks about, he's been on reality shows for real, and they have to embellish certain things in order to dramatize it so people stay hooked and watch this. This is the whole clickbaity type of effect. It's like dangling a carrot. It's something that seems enticing. Well, I could just embellish that a little bit. But then I'm like, no, what if I'm like on stage 2 years from now and there's 1,000 people, and then the guy's like, yeah, dude, when you slept in that thing, and I'll have to be like, yeah, I was lying about that. So he's like, then just say you were lying about it. Actors lie all the time. And so he started to convince me a little bit, and I just had the feeling in my stomach. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I don't care if we don't do it at all. I'm not lying about shit. Because as an entrepreneur and a marketer, you can go to marketing hell, because it's extremely manipulative what you can do with videos and copywriting, and there's all this negative shit on YouTube, the world's gonna end type of shit, and you can get sucked in the TikTok rabbit hole. But as a content creator, I've learned that some dude in his basement can make scary ass thumbnails and pull shit together, and he knows he's getting paid, and he's getting hundreds of thousands of views off each video by getting people hooked. And so isn't he breaking integrity or doing something wrong? I mean, it's just media. People watch horror movies all the time, but it doesn't sit right with me. So remember that like lesson when you go on, and if you do make a podcast and you do make videos and shit starts to take off, or you meet somebody who says an idea that doesn't make sense to you, dude, I'd rather say no. I don't care if you fucking write me a check for $100,000 right now. If I don't agree with it, I don't want your money and I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'd rather stay the long, hard road and do shit right. Because I believe at the end when you meet your maker and he just plays, he's got a vibe board. He's like, oh, what about this time when you did this and this and this? I'm like, oh shit, into the fiery lake of hell. You know, it's like, but it's this shit's that serious to me. Integrity is literally everything. You don't need fancy cameras or lighting. All you need is your smartphone. You need a message. Our podcast just crossed 750,000 downloads. We're putting out 2 shows a week now. I started it in 2014 with my smartphone, walking around talking into it, and then uploading it to the podcast platform. And today we do 1 to 2 shows a week, and it just gets sent to, well, actually we live stream it. It automatically gets posted to, from the live stream on StreamYard.com, 8 different platforms. And then my podcast producer, I got 2 of them. I think they're both in the Philippines. Yeah, one was been with me for about a year. The other one's been with me for 5 years now. And they take it, basically like we sell ads for the podcast. We pitch our own info products and freebie downloads and opt-ins. And the whole podcast is completely automated. And then they write all the show notes. They log into my CRM platform, Kajabi, and then they broadcast it to our 16,000 email subscribers. And then inside of the podcast alone, I think we made like 55, 60 grand last year off the podcast, completely automated without me really doing anything. So it's just like, it's an automated thing. And so like the YouTube channel, I put out videos like that. And I think YouTube doesn't do it as much, like 24 grand on YouTube. And like, I think we did like another 30 grand doing shorts content, and like, I think we did like, what did we do? The online course sales is really low. It's under 100 grand. So we're scaling that this year. And we probably did 100,000. No, we did 140,000 in brand deals. So now it's a business, the media business, that makes money from all these different directions and allows me to do what I love to do the most, which is speak on stage or make videos or do podcasts and share an inspirational message that touches people without me having to be stressed out financially. So how you do that and scale to that. Anybody want to know how to actually scale to the next level and make money with it? No? Yes? You don't care? Yes? Okay. This is the really hard part, but it's easy once you like accept it. I was talking earlier about all the emotions of being excited and just making videos on the fly and being inspired. Well, even though genius is like 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, you're going to hit a glass ceiling because you're going to be trying to do a podcast and make videos and do all this crazy shit.
More of the Untrapped podcast right after this. Hey, if you're looking for what is probably the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, even track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. And if you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and if after the trial you decide you want to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith. This is Untrapped with Keith Kalfas.
You have to, at some point, start putting structure into the business and putting things on a marketing calendar. I spoke like about a month ago at an event, and I went over everybody's heads, and I felt like bad because only a couple people got what I was talking about, and I didn't know how to communicate it because I don't talk about this side of it too much. How about I just go, and then you can raise your hands and stop me if you want. Cool. Okay. And I'm saving about, I don't know, $3,500 right now by doing this myself. And I'm ADD. I realized I never played the video. Do you still want to see it before we go to the next thing? I'll play it real quick for you. And I want to show you after how we're scaling this. The walk the line one, actually, I want to show you part of it. Because what I really want you guys to get is going with the inspiration and emotion and not letting yourself feel afraid or embarrassed of how you might look. I was filming my online course video for it. So my guys are working on a project and I'm literally walking around the block fired up in this subdivision in the middle of the summer around the whole block like 3 times. And a lady comes out. She's like, "Is everything okay? What's going on?" She was like paranoid. And I was like, "What up, though?" You know, I had my nice shirt on and embroidered and everything was matching. I said, "Oh, I'm Keith Kalfas. I have a landscaping business. We're working right over there. And I also make videos promoting my business on social media. Would you like a quote?" She's like, no, everything's good. So you have to be like really hyper transparent and confident in those moments. Others are like, what's this person doing, you know? Oh, this is sweet. Walk the line. Boom. All right. This is awesome. It's an ad. Is there any volume?
No.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I'll just show you like a minute of it. It's called Walk the Line. So I'm literally taking the backpack blower off. I'm fired up. I'm dialed right into the camera. Right now, this is all about the shit that's going on in my head, and I'm making this happen. I don't care what anybody thinks. I've created a neuroassociative trigger that when I put on those glasses, I go into fucking this. I'm telling the truth. So there's all the lines, and
turn on this audiobook. Albert Einstein said, "Only 2 things in this universe are infinite."
That's earlier in the video. How did you do that?
Only 2 things in this universe are infinite. 1,
Can you fast forward to 1 minute and 15 seconds?
human stupidity. So I'm working on this property right now, and I had this metaphor I want to share with you.
Wow, good.
Cry and bitch and whine and complain. It's hard over here, it sucks over here. Or eventually,
It's good. It's perfect. That was good. It was like
and walk the line. You're walking the line. No. Look at this. Another detour, another dead end sucks you down in your life. It could be a toxic family member, a toxic friend. It could be your own toxic psychology. It could be your own issues that you carry with you everywhere you go. We all have them. I have them, right? And now you're at another dead end. You can sit here for a month, a week. You can sit here for 10 years. You can sit on this dead end your entire life. It's too hard. Look how far that is. I'll never get there. But I want to tell you something. Check this out. You finally get the courage to get back up and walk the line. And you walk that line. And it's hard. And you can't balance. You're like a spring chicken, right? And it's so difficult sometimes, life. The shit that gets thrown at you and the shit you have to deal with and learn to work through and overcome. The things that keep you up all night. The things that stress you out, the anxieties, the uncertainties, will pull you down in themselves, down more dead ends. You get where I'm going with this, right? All these freaking dead ends, man. I got an awesome client that we're working for. He's an old school Greek guy. And I sit in his office with him when I'm getting paid, and we talk about life for a few minutes of business. And he's old school. He says, let me tell you something, Keith. Most everybody you learn in life, they're fucking full of shit. I'm like, but I learn more and more that he's right, because the more you learn and grow in life and in this world, you learn that, oh my God, a lot of the things that you learn growing up from people or people you look up to, you grow up and you find out that that was just a paradigm, and hey, sometimes we're full of shit. So you gotta walk your own line and walk your purpose. But here's what happens. You start to walk this way, you go, I've been down that road before, and you start to get that sixth sense, and you go, oh my God, that's when wisdom grows. I've been down that road. These are dead ends. They're dead ends. I'm gonna get there because now you've learned, you've been ripped off, you've been scammed, you've been screwed by the system, right? So you walk the line, but what happens, right? Oh shit, you end up down another dead end. How the hell, I thought you were on your mission, and now you end up all the way down here again, right? And now you're frustrated. Now you're beat up because you've come all this way, and you got so far to go, and now you're sitting at another dead end in your life again. And this time you give up, throw in the towel, people go into depression, turn to drugs or alcohol or whatever it might be. You can't even get out of bed for a month. Maybe you've lost everything and went bankrupt. Maybe a person that you love left you, or there was something horrible that happened, and now you're stuck at a horrible dead end. You'll never be able to dig yourself out. You're at a permanent dead end. You can sit there forever and be stuck there, and it's going to be hell, because now you crossed the Rubicon. You're at the point of no return. How the hell are you even going to get back? Maybe it sets you all the way back to back there, way back to the beginning. Oh shit! If you imagine being a grown-ass man, this happens to a lot of people, and things happen to you in your life that put you all the way back, not only at square one, but deeply in debt. Now you're way over there, dude. How are you ever going to get back? But the knowledge and the wisdom that you've learned along the way is so important, because you can get back faster, right? So you force yourself to get up. You get out of the depression. You get a new job. You start a business. You settle the bankruptcy, whatever that horrible thing is, right? And before you know it, amazing things happen when you fully commit 100%. There's an amazing book by Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil. He talks about walking not a line, but not drifting, right? Not drifting. And staying on the straight and narrow in your consciousness is actually, the devil can't get to you when you have a definiteness of purpose, right? I like David Data. He says, lock yourself in a room with a notepad and pen and don't come out until you know your purpose. Because once you become purpose-driven, like Rick Warren, the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, then you develop discernment, and you can't be pulled in so many directions anymore, caught up in the swirl. Feel like that swirl is what will take you and suck you down like a whirlpool. Like I said, toxic people, and maybe your toxic self. You become more definite. So now you're like, I'm not going on that. Screw that. This opportunity is a wolf in sheep's clothing, full of shit. Look at that. Hell no. I've been there before. You're walking, oh shit, down, oh shit. You end up down another dead end. But, you hit this dead end, you go, boom, bounce back quick. Because you've been there. And look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And maybe not. The finish line, the green grass, where the money grows. And you hit the finish line, and you have arrived, right? And you can get that moment one day where you're on vacation, or maybe you found the love of your life, or maybe you've spread a bunch of money out across your mattress. I actually got the chance to do that like a couple years ago for the first time in my life, and I realized that was a really empty feeling. I was like, oh, this ain't what I thought it would be, right? It's not a lot of money, it's just a goal for me. But you hit a level of gratitude one day where you wake up and you cry. I broke down crying over the winter while it's out plowing snow. I bawled my freaking eyes out. I was like, oh my God, thank you, God. I've never been so grateful in my life because it hits you like a ton of bricks. That your dream is beginning to happen in front of your own eyes. But look how far you had to come and all the bullshit you had to go through to get there. But people will look at all your successes or whatever, and they'll just be like, and invalidate you. Mother Teresa or Peace Pilgrim said, if you build a large structure or a castle or anything, people will tear it down, right? If you love unconditionally, people will break your heart. Love anyway, build anyway, right? If you have great ideas, people will knock them down, have great ideas anyway, because in the end, it was never between you and them. It's between you and your creator, right? Whoever your creator is to you. It wasn't between you and them anyway. In the end, it's all about your purpose and your mission. So walk your line, because there's one more thing that I want to say. You are actually way down there on the other side, on the other end. Your higher self, rooting yourself on, saying, come on, Joe, come on, Mike, come on, Bob, you could do it, you could do it. But you're all the way back here going, I can't do it, it's hard, oh my God, I'm running on no sleep, like you're a mess, right? And that's real. Grown-ass man or not, or woman, life is really fucking hard sometimes. It's really hard, right? But we're not special. Everybody goes through the same shit. We actually live in the greatest opportunity anywhere, despite some shit. But the temptation will be to get sucked up in stupid bullshit. Maybe to do wrong things, or to do things, or get caught and sidetracked in dead ends. That's the temptation, and the temptation will fucking eat your ass alive. But you're on the other end. The metaphorical you saying, come on, you could do it. Good man, good man, good man. Walk your line. Good man. I know, but it's hard. I want to step off the line, right? No, your purpose is to evolve. And evolution, like shedding a snake's skin or shedding, well, I don't want to say snake. You know what I mean, right? Evolution is painful because it's growing pains. We all go through them. I go through them, right? Walk your line, no matter what.
It's almost done.
Time is on your side, bitches. Time ain't on the side. I got bills to pay out. I understand, right? But the sooner you start walking that line and not getting caught up in this stupid bullshit and all these detours and dead ends, is the sooner things will start to work out for you. I promise you. All right, I gotta get back to work. We're installing some mulch, prepping these garden beds, and making it look crispy. All right, later.
So,
you know what's funny? More thing. Very much so now that I'm in my early 30s, I feel very much like a man, very in control of my thoughts and, you know, my business more now so, my household. But there's still a part of my psychology that's a kid, and I don't know what that is. I get insecure about it sometimes, but maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing.
That's good. Thank you so much. So the whole time I had this idea, and then I went with it. And then once you get over that initial kind of like feeling uncomfortable or that fear, you just kind of settle in and you're like, you keep going all the way to the finish line. There's this book called, I could talk about books forever, but 3 Feet from Gold. Most people stop 3 feet from gold. Or you're like wrapping it up and then you just collapse under the pressure and you're like, never mind, I can't do this. So I'm challenging you, if you start a video, if you start a podcast, go all the way through to the finish line and behave as if you only have one shot. So on these landscape jobs, dude, we set up stuff, we act stuff out. Like, I mean, we will redo the take if it was wrong. We film, we got things very structured now. But what I'm saying is that if you're on a landscaping job and the clock's ticking, or you're out selling jobs, or you're pulling up to a quote. You literally might only have 3 minutes, and that's the only 3 minutes that you have for 4 days. So what are you going to do with that 3 minutes? I built my online business empire, whatever you want to call it. It was in my head what I called it, while literally sitting on the toilet, while my wife was like, what the hell is taking so long? And I'm like, post, and run out the door. I don't bring my phone at the dinner table, and we do date night every Tuesday night, and I put my family first for sure. But I mean, I literally built all of this. I can't articulate how many views with everything. It's probably like 80 million views or something. And literally in the micro moments of not wasting a second, constantly making it the priority of just taking out my phone and videotaping and posting that shit. Now, the next thing is, there are people who can go like, I mean, you could build a whole business just off making viral content, but it's not super duplicatable, because at some point you got to put structure in. We're diving deep into like our messaging ecosystem, our brand stance, the different customer avatars of people we talk to, and the proprietary language that we speak based off of their behavior and how they react. But what I can say is that, okay, check this out. Find a night of the week, and on your calendar, it's called blocking and tackling. If you want to start a podcast, say like for us, I had to pick a day. It's Wednesdays. I don't care who wants to interview me or who I'm going to interview. It's Wednesday night, anywhere from like, I don't know, 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. And my wife knows I got a podcast, so I'll eat dinner real quick, because Tuesday night is our night. I don't do any of that shit, and we eat dinner. But every single Wednesday it's on podcast. So it becomes, it hits, if you read Atomic Habits by James Clear, it hits automaticity and it becomes a habit. And now every single Wednesday is blocked out for podcasts. If something doesn't get done Wednesday, it can't get done till next Wednesday, because I've got stuff on Thursday that I do. Every Friday is like my pulse meeting with my team, where we go over everything that we're doing on social media and everything that we're doing. Friday is Friday finances. Every single Friday I wake up, the first thing I do, I get my cup of coffee, I'm doing Friday finances, and I don't stop until it's done. We go through everything, we talk to the bookkeeper, we get everything perfect. Sunday I chill and like relax, go to the gym, hang out with my family. Monday night coaching is where I usually coach other people on Mondays. And so what I'm saying is, if you want to do something and you build a habit of putting structure into it, you can set up rules for yourself and pre-decide in advance how you're going to behave in these specific scenarios and what you will and won't do. So you could be like, I don't know, Saturday is my video day. Like me, I don't film any videos on Sundays, because I've learned that I'm a different person on Sunday. When I sleep in and I wake up on Sunday, the thoughts that I have and who I am, like, and I like to play my piano a little, sing a little, play with my dogs, joke around. And I notice that when I make content on Sundays, it's just weird and it doesn't really land, and it's like kind of out there. But if you know that, like say we do Monday quotes in the landscaping business, and if I want to do a Monday quotes video, I'm already doing quotes on Mondays, I'll film the experience and we'll do all of these like type of quotes. If the guys, here's another like hack, give your employees GoPros and just give them like bonuses, or find the one that's the most good at tech. Like, bro, I want you to record the job sites. Here's 2 GoPros, get a full time lapse, and then just move the camera around every once in a while to videotape you guys working. I paid my one foreman like $5,800 in bonuses. I paid him just for, he was good at it, bro. He was videotaping all types of shit. And then I would have Keith's angle, so I would have my phone or my GoPro, and I'd be out doing quotes. So I give it to the editor, and the editor just knows, meanwhile, Keith is out doing quotes. Boom, I'm out doing quotes. So that it goes back to the guys at the job site. So you can actually leverage the social media by having other people on your team create the content for you. And what's good about that, there's a hard thing about building a personal brand, because you have to be there. Imagine like, oh, Tom Cruise is this famous actor. When he puts out a movie, he's got to be on The Tonight Show, and Conan's not around anymore. But I was like, all these different places, he has to go and promote that, because he's the personal brand. Like, he's the one promoting the movie. Of course, the movie has a trailer, and they put out millions of dollars of ad spend all over the place. But if you build a business completely around you, then at certain stages, you'll get trapped in handcuffs. Like, the business can become like you're handcuffed to it, because now you feel like you have to do this thing. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you feel like you have to do something, it can suck all the inspiration and passion out of it. And now you're just like, I don't know, it feels like This sounds kind of like, I felt very trapped in my landscaping business. Like I have to do this shit for a long time, and I didn't like it. So if you create content, you have to stay connected to your dream and do it on your terms and on your calendar. So I want to check my notes and make sure I'm not missing anything, and then I want to do some Q&A. And after this, I'll be disappearing because I got to catch a flight. We run the whole media business on Monday.com. It's a CRM. It is freaking brilliant. So I have millions of video ideas and podcasts and all this shit going on. So I hired a consultant for like $150 an hour to walk me through Monday.com. I brain dumped everything out of my brain. We got it all organized into categories and color coded. And then we put it on Monday.com, and I plug my VAs into it. And my executive assistant is on Monday.com. Every different idea we have for a podcast or a video or a virtual product, like we have like 12 different online courses. We have another brand that we're starting called Social Media Explosion. Like it's all completely organized and categorized and color code. So she just goes where that thing is, and we have ongoing conversations about each different topic, and it's freed the bandwidth in my brain up. So now it's just all on the CRM. So, all right, you don't need fancy clothes. Don't worry about your environment or what you do or don't have, because where you're at right now in your life is so incredibly unique and perfect. My truck isn't clean, or I don't have the $100,000 truck, or I don't have the Rolex, or I live in this crummy place or something like that. That's perfect, because where you're at and where you're authentically at is where people will resonate with you and get in where you fit in. That's so perfect, because you're going to look back as you succeed in 2, 3, 4 years and go, oh my God, those were the golden years. I'm so glad that I was brave enough to show my journey of where I was really at, and people are going to resonate and love it. If you're broke talking about how to build a multiple six-figure business, people are going to see right through your bullshit in 2 seconds. You can't hide it. There's no point in trying to hide it. And there's no point in being ashamed of it, because you're showing your journey and people will grow with you. So replace the word me with you, because if you're talking about yourself in terms to a story of like a lesson, that makes sense. But if on podcasts and stuff, you're always like, me, and I, and this thing about me, and me, and me, and me, and me, and I, people tune out real quick and they're like, oh my God. So keep it focused on them or the product. So you have a stage. Check this out. You got a stage, and you can put 3 things on that stage. You could put you on the stage in the spotlight and make everything about you, and you'll plateau really quick. You won't really get off a certain point. Your second option is you could put your product on the stage, your product or your service. That's how you can really grow and take off. But the way the best leaders at all in media and like social media and all this stuff is you can put your customer on that stage, and that's how you can really take off. And you get to the point where you realize nobody even really cares about you, and the only reason you should ever even talk about yourself is if it pertains back to the main point that helps move their journey along. It's the customer journey. So nobody really cares about you. They care about themselves. Never sacrifice your audience's trust for money, ever. And so there's levers you can pull. Once you have influence on social media, you can pull a lever and make, I don't know, 20, 50 grand. And if you do it, I feel in my legs right now, like, ooh, like don't do that. Because if you sacrifice their trust, you'll never get that trust back. And so say no to that stuff. Do it the right way and you'll be really rewarded. And here's something really important. If you really, really start to take off on social media and you start your podcast, I'm telling you, we had that one video of me talking about the shovel. That got like, I don't know, I think it was 2.1 million views on Facebook alone. So anyways, because of that video, it opened up the algorithm. And then we, for like 6 months straight, every single video I uploaded on Facebook got an average of 50,000 views. And we just like, boom. And I'd run into people that are like, bro, I see you all over Facebook. You're killing it. And I became the dude that I was like, how does that dude go viral? How does that dude do? And I actually experienced what it's like to go viral and get millions of views online and have money coming in and stuff like that. And I'll tell you one thing, it messed up all our data on Facebook, because now we have the world at large and mainstream America funneling in by hundreds of thousands watching my videos going, this guy's a crook, he's a ripoff, he's a scam artist, who is this guy? Because I'm talking about raising your prices, and I'm talking to contractors, and now we're trying to run Facebook ads, and we're trying to segment the data so we're not blowing money because you basically retarget people who have watched your videos like the last 30, 60, 90, 365 days. And I'm like, dude, all these videos have all these views and it's all junk data now because it's a bunch of random people that is watching the videos that's not our customer avatar that we can't bring into our back-end funnels. So when I say that, there's a story that Brendan Burchard told. This guy's made like millions and millions online. He was telling a story how he privately coaches famous people and New York Times best-selling authors, and he would meet like a best-selling author, and the best-selling author behind closed doors would reveal that they're broke. And Brendan would be like, what do you mean? You're the author of this famous book. Everybody knows you've been on Oprah. He's like, well, yeah, we went on Oprah. We got several thousand book sales, but then the spike went right back down. And he's like, but what do you mean? I thought you would be a millionaire. He's like, no. And then he met more and more and more viral, famous people, best-selling authors who were all close to broke. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And then he realized that they didn't build the entire, so this is like the front-facing side of your personal brand, social media, what people see, your books, your podcast. If you don't build this is the most important part of this shit. If you don't build your entire back end and systematize a personal brand, so when you do hit a viral streak or you get on freaking whatever, Oprah or whatever, any big publication or network, when all those people come rushing to your website, you have to have a page where you can give them something great for free or sell and collect their information. You want to collect their email address. You want to collect as much information as you can. I mean, everything about them, if you can, like their name, their email, their phone number, because you can like remarket to them in different ways. And then you want to send them to a one-time offer, right? If you sell your book for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 bucks, maybe you want to sell them an entire course or a course that's free that upsells them to a customer value ascension that sells them something for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, a grand, depending on the customer or what it is. Now you can monetize all that and bring them into your world, remarket to them, and you can actually get a customer for life. So if you don't collect all their data and you don't have something to sell them and you don't have a way to track that, then you literally just blew a major opportunity and didn't even know it. So I went nuts at building back-end data and collecting email addresses, and I do this in the service business too. Every time I talk to a customer on the phone, and what was your email again? And so customers that would hire a different landscaper or window cleaner, a year or two goes by and I market to them just like an email blast. And then they end up going with us because I stayed top of mind. They chose me next time. So it's like you always got to collect their data of your customer list, and the list is everything. And also, if your YouTube blows up and then all of a sudden disappears, you're out of business. You're done. So you want to build an actual real business on the back end that you have all of your own data, and now you have all the emails, you have everything, because don't depend on any social media platform or any ads or any of that stuff. So I have had the opportunity to go do a bunch of brand deals and make money, but it just seems risky to me to totally muddy up my brand for some short-term money. And I really, really want to help people start and grow their business, help them with their social media. So find out your lane and stick with it. Okay, I want to do some Q&A. Is this making sense? All right, good. All right, so any questions? Payjack.
Hey, buddy. Hey, like when you're talking about the back end of the front, right? You're doing all your podcasts and everything else. On that back end, what would some of those other things include to help? Would it be like switching over?
Oh, he's got a mic. Yeah.
Sorry, but my question is like on the back end that you were talking about, like you have the face of your podcast or social media or whatever it is, and you're talking about that rush when people come to you. What part of the back end would you recommend upping? Like, would it have to be with like your servers or your something for the website to be able to handle that type of traffic? Or
that was a problem 15 years ago. Now with like stuff like ClickFunnels and Kajabi and Udemy and Teachable, and there's a bunch of them now.
Okay,
they can all handle it.
Gotcha. Because I use Kajabi, so
I mean, if you send like maybe 1 million people at once, it might crash it.
Okay,
but that's to the best of my knowledge. You're fine.
Perfect. Thank you.
What's up?
Tackling windows and landscape simultaneously. Is that like still doing it?
Tackling windows and landscape simultaneously? Are we still doing it? So I was torn because I was trying to grow the social media business and do landscaping, and I had a dream of growing the window cleaning business and like having vans out with guys working and stuff. And I couldn't focus on anything because I was spreading myself too thin. And that's another thing we're focusing on is we've reduced services. But we got out of people's houses, no more interior cleaning services, because basically I believe you have to hire employees that are like unicorns to be that conscious going inside of these $1 million homes above grand pianos and not scratching anything and be super conscious. And with the pricing, so I just basically priced us out of the market. So we still have a core group of window cleaning clients, only a few of them. We have a $1,000, this year it'll be $1,000 minimum to go inside of anybody's house. And I've turned down houses. I'll go and I'll be like, we're not doing that because just the liability factors. So I just send a guy out with a water fed pole and then he does it and collects the money. But I'm thinking about eliminating window cleaning altogether just to narrow my focus. But you can do it. I wasn't.
You had a lot going on with the media business and landscaping and all that. I didn't know.
Looking back, too many eggs and too many baskets out of fear and desperation. It's a diversification out of desperation. You know, that's what it was. Any other questions? Come on, man.
You obviously,
Huh?
you obviously have this larger than life persona that works really well on camera. What advice do you give to people that maybe are not quite as, I'm going to use this word, eccentric as you are, and how can they develop a persona that connects with people?
Question by Mr. Producer says, I have this larger than life persona. What about people who just maybe don't? Is that kind of the question?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You've got charisma.
Charisma.
You've got that it factor. Not everybody
The it factor.
has the it factor.
Yeah, so there's a couple different answers to that. One answer is not my answer, but it's like there's literally like people who become famous because they're so boring. Who is this guy? He's I can't think of his name.
Paul Jameson?
No. If you be yourself with the volume turned all the way up and embrace, like, so I'm well aware that there are people who literally can't stand me. I'm weird, I'm quirky, I go down rabbit holes. It's almost like I've had people in the videos say, I feel insecure talking about it. That guy's like, I just can't listen to that guy, right? And even myself, I don't think I could listen to me. When I listen to people, I just want straight facts. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me what to do, I'll go do the shit. I don't want any crazy shit. So the other part of that, the answer to that question was, if you don't have it, you have to find a way to dig deep in yourself and develop it and find that unique mechanism inside of you by testing. And if you're making a bunch of content on social media that's not resonating at all, it's because something about it sucks or something about it is unengaging and boring, and you're going to have to keep trying until you get it. And if you don't have it, maybe you go find the person who does, or you just don't do it at all. So I don't know the answer, but I know that if you face fears and do it anyways, you'll find out quick. I don't know the answer.
Just an observation on your walk the line video.
Yeah.
It looked like the end of the line was a liquor store.
I know. That'd be funny.
For a client testimonial video, what would be 3 or 4 questions you'd recommend just for doing?
Oh, for client testimonials? Yeah, so one thing about filming testimonials, I just did a deep dive on like Parker Walbeck's channel, Full-Time Filmmaker, and I watched like 20 videos about how to film testimonials. And you can literally ask ChatGPT, what are the best questions for testimonials? And I noticed that we've done a lot of filming, and you want to have multiple cameras so you can cut like in between the takes and make it seem seamless. But you might film somebody who's not experienced on camera for 45 minutes for them to actually calm down and get the good stuff out. So you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then when you finally turn the camera off, they go, man, but I really do love the way that they did our landscaping, and it was beautiful, honey. And she's like, I know, George, it wasn't. You're like, oh my God, that was the goal. So it's patience and asking the questions that whatever Google says, I can't think of them top of mind, but the goal is to make them feel comfortable so they can relax and become engaged. That's why it's important to find the right customers, because if you got the wrong person, it's just, you're going to waste your time and money. If you get the right person, and you'll know when it's, you're like, bro, I know you're just the right guy. Let me do a testimonial. Make sure they sign off on it. So like, you know, a year down the road, the guy doesn't call you, hey man, I need you to take that shit down. And if they did anyways, you'd probably take it down. But yeah, find the right person and the stuff will flow out naturally. Any more questions?
Keith, can you take us a little bit through the transition of when you went from your landscaping business to then trying to automate everything for social media? Like, that's a pivotal time that people struggle with. a lot of it's psychology, like I don't want to invest in this, or that costs this much or that, or like how are you able to make that transition from working until 3 a.m. doing both things to be able to finally transition into, okay, I'm going to have some virtual assistants or whatever that first step was, and maybe have other people help me with landscaping, whatever. Like, can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So, a funny thing, I heard a lawn care millionaire say something. He says the only way is to grow your way out of it. And that stuck in my head in one of his old videos. I used to binge watch his videos while plowing snow just to get the whole download of like all the kind of best practices, and it changed my life. Thanks, man. So that kept repeating in my head, grow your way out of it. Oh shit, so if I stay where I'm at, that means I have to change and I have to grow in order to grow my way out of this problem. So basically when the pain gets so bad of where you're at, when the pain of staying the same becomes worse than the pain of changing, you'll change. And the way I kind of quantify that in my brain is like you're being squeezed through the cracks. Like imagine bricks squeezing like gel so hard that it's squeezing and you're suffering and you're being forced to change and it's painful. So when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. It's when you finally call up, I don't know, the mentor, the person who's done it, and you're like, dude, I don't care what it costs. I don't care what I can do. Why are you 500 or 1,000 bucks? I need you to get on Zoom call and walk. I'm ready. I'm doing this now. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm doing this shit. And I noticed that when you get to that place and then you finally commit to hiring the virtual assistant or hiring the foreman or going and getting an office or whatever it is, signing papers on a house, the commitment where you burn the ships for real because it's too painful to stay there, that's when the shit just starts working. Because here's the part of the control factor of having discernment that I didn't get. I felt like I was running around in the world trapped and I didn't understand why things weren't working for me. And then I learned when you're committed and you're showing up saying, hey, I have a plan and I'm doing this. Other people, when they see like a potential employee or a potential virtual, when they see that you're fucking dead serious about what you're about to do and you have certainty and you're doing it with or without them, they're like, well, shit, I've wanted to do something like this, or yeah, this is perfect. I want to do that. Like they will follow and join teams with you because you're committed. But when you're flip-floppy and you're scared and you're not committed, people can see it. And they're like, well, I don't want to come work for this guy. I don't even know if this is. And so you get in where you fit in. If you're scared, you're going to end up hiring a scared employer, virtual assistant, or someone who's also not committed to their shit. And it's not going to work. So it's all part of the progressive model of like the competency progression model. So I got an online course by Ty Lopez called Social Media Marketing Agency. And there was a guy on there named like Joe Soto. He has like a multi-million-dollar agency, and he had a whole thing about how to hire virtual assistants on Upwork.com. I knew I was in pain. I knew I was trying to find virtual assistants, staying up all night editing my own videos. And I'm watching this, like, I'm just sitting watching it on my TV, plugged into my laptop. I'm like, wait a second. You could just go on Upwork.com and he's scrolling through all the different thousands of virtual assistants. I'm like, I closed my laptop, I immediately went on Upwork.com and I started scrolling and I hired a virtual assistant immediately in Russia to edit my videos. And it was rocky at first. He went on to edit like probably 150 videos. I think they were cheap, 40 to 80 bucks a piece. And then I was like, well, I need another virtual assistant. So I've been through 45 virtual assistants, ones that all types of problems. And so now I hire fast and I fire fast. So if I have a project that I need to do something, I will go and I'll put out a job post. I scan 100 different virtual assistants and I narrow it down from I learn you get what you pay for. So my minimum, depending on the task, could be 15 to 150. I paid $500 an hour. But what I'm looking for, and I get extremely specific, and I make sure that they have this amount of time being a virtual assistant. They've made this many customers happy. I read all the testimonials. The reviews. I look at the work, and I get very clear. So if I have a task, I go through 100 virtual assistants, and I narrow it down to 10, and then I narrow that down to the first 3 that I'm going to interview for the position. Then I contact them, and I set up Zoom calls, and I start interviewing them, and I will know immediately if they're a no, or if they're a possible yes, and I'll keep them on Zoom for an entire hour, like looking for a podcast producer or looking for someone to chop up and everything, put it on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Whatever they do, there's 17 virtual assistants that work for me, and I have a core team of 11 that are doing stuff all the time. And so I'll hire 3, fully intending that I'm going to let the other 2 go really fast. And I'll actually pay extra to have all 3 of them deliver results on the same graphic design project so I can really quickly see if they were bullshitting or stealing that work for someone else or having some secret team put their, like, because I'm serious about getting these projects done. Then when I find the one, then I don't even think that they're going to last more than, 6 months because I don't know what's going to happen or not. And some of them last 6 months, some of them stay for years. And now I have a core team. And then the next thing that we're doing, I'm talking a lot off one question. There's a book by Peter Drucker called Virtual Freedom. And in the center, you can turn one of the virtual assistants. So you can hire an executive assistant or you can turn a virtual assistant into a general assistant. So what I do is I have an executive assistant who is now helping me do project management and being kind of like the integrator. And she's a fucking rock star, bro. It's a dream come true. All the shit that I hated doing and I couldn't stand doing and I've been trying to do since like 2016, she's just like messaging me on Upwork.com. Yeah, we recorded the entire interview and we transcribed it through Otter.ai, then put it through ChatGPT, and then we created a fully integrated workbook with all my branding and all this shit, and it all makes perfect sense. We go through the copy line by line. We spend 5.5 hours on Zoom calls just analyzing the copy and like and making sure everything makes perfect sense. And that's what happens when you have like these really good virtual assistants. Oh yeah, and my friend DJ one time, he was like, well, I have one virtual assistant do 6 different things. I'm like, well, does it work? He's like, well, that virtual assistant is doing 6 different things, but not really good. I'm like, well, I have 6 different virtual assistants for 6 different things. He's like, what? You have a different virtual assistant for every different thing? I said, well, yeah, because I learned quickly that one of them like loves just making thumbnails, and you can kind of get them to like edit a podcast, but they're going to suck at it and they hate it, and then they'll just stop doing it after a little bit. So now I have one that just does all the thumbnails in bulk. So I pay my VA. She does 15 thumbnails a month, and they're all dope. She does variations, and I pick the ones I want. If I don't like, she remakes them. I have another VA that edits a podcast, another VA that does a podcast, another VA that does like filming and editing for different editing reasons. I have a specific editor that's going to edit all this because it's long form content and their experience in editing. Because if you take someone who edits vlogs, who watches crazy Mr. Beast videos, they're literally going to take these 3 camera angles and keep switching it every 5 seconds, and it's going to be horrific. So a truly experienced editor who understands long form content, they're just going to let the camera just sit on me, and once in a blue moon, change it when it's right, or maybe not at all. So it's like, I learned all this shit the hard way, but go hire some VAs. Go on Upwork.com and hire a VA to do something, and then hopefully it'll spark in your brain, oh my God, I could like hire people to do all the stuff I suck at. Oh, and you need money to do it, so go find the money or save up the money to do it and then replace yourself infinitum. Any other questions? No. You got a question?
I got one.
What's up?
I find it fascinating how you remember so much, especially audiobooks and stuff you listen to. Have you always been that way? Or do you constantly listen to them over again, like binge them?
How do I remember stuff?
How do you have such good memory? Is it something you worked on or you've always been that way?
My one friend makes fun of me and says, you're like a walking cliche, bro. So the reason I remember so much shit is because my deepest fear and insecurity is being stupid and incompetent. And there's some mental illness in my extended family. And so I'm so afraid of being stupid that I'm obsessed with knowledge and learning, but it's rooted in like a deficit. So it's like, yeah.
I just have no idea how you keep all that in your head, like names, parts out of books and stuff. It just like blows my mind. I can't do that. So.
It's just because I'm insecure. Anything else about automating your social media marketing?
No, off topic.
Yeah.
I read most of the books that you gave out at the expo with some books that you've been reading recently.
Books. Audible.com. I've got the pro version on Audible.com, and so I try to always be listening and learning. Get Audible.com. Okay, here's the books. Right now I'm listening to The Expectation Effect, talking about basically what you expect is you're going to create that. Like some people, they gave a guy a bunch of placebo pills because he was sick, but they weren't even real pills, and he was going to commit suicide. So he took them all, and he went to like the emergency room, and he was in the hospital. He turned white, and he was like sweating, and then they called up his doctor, and he was like, no, it was part of a clinical study. They were fake. And he was like, oh, okay. So whatever you expect So I'm obsessed with stuff like that, like positive expectancy. Happy Pocket Full of Money, Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, Process by Mike Payton. I'm really into the Gino Wickman, Traction, Get a Grip, Rocket Fuel type books and EOS method. Gino Wickman's a genius. He'll help you overcome a lot of head trash. Dan Sullivan, Strategic Coach. I love all the Garrett Sutton, Robert Kiyosaki stuff. Like ABCs of buying and selling a business and Vail not. I was going to sell my window cleaning business and I found out it wasn't really worth anything. And so the offer I got, I was like, I'm just going to shut that shit down. So go read a book. If you have anything you want to know about, if you're having problems in your marriage, go get a book. 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, right? And read that. If you want to know how to market, get a book on marketing. 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan. Crucial Conversations. I can go on for hours. I won't. Oh. All Alex Hormozy stuff. Get his physical book and the audiobook and read them at the same time. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Dude, this summer, he's like, instead of going and upgrading your lifestyle and buying that fancy Cadillac, take that money and reinvest it in your business and hire an executive assistant. I never understood why some of these guys, dude, we're doing $7 million on meat and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm like, what? You should be balling. It's because they understand that they're going to be trapped at that level if they don't keep reinvesting. So, oh, David Goggins' book, Never Finished. Anybody listen to that? It is amazing. Okay. Oh, The Gospel According to Jesus. That'll give you a checkup from the neck up, bro. The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. So if you hire people, find out what their dreams are and help them build their dreams as a leader. Do you know about that? Anybody? Okay. Any other questions?
I got a new list. Thank you.
Okay, so your homework is take out your smartphone. If you don't have a YouTube channel, start one. And just tell your story. Where you got started, how you started your business, the struggles that you went through, and how you overcame them, and how you got to where you're at today, and press upload. No matter what happens, keep uploading and sharing. But start it and do it, and keep doing it, and be consistent at it. And it'll open up opportunities like you wouldn't believe. Like I said, my friend Eric sold $1 million roofing job off that. Like, that's crazy. I won't get into like the tags and titles and stuff, but you can leverage it so it actually gets you more work in your local market, and you can do so much. Okay, so I have a freebie download for you guys before I go. I have an entire workbook that I've created for this. I'm going to write it right here. It's keithkelfis.com/smartphone. It's an entire guide on how to film and do social media with your smartphone. You don't need any fancy cameras or anything. Type that in your browser. Yeah, take out your phones, open your browser, type it in. And you'll get the free PDF guide. Hey, here's another hack. Well, I'll wait till you do this.
It's asking for my name and email, though.
Of course it is.
We need to put a credit card number?
Nope, it's totally free. Because also this is going on a special list where I'm inviting anybody who wants to come on a totally free Zoom call where I'll do a deep dive and teach you guys how to actually implement this stuff on a group coaching call, totally free. Think about that. Let me know when you got it. Oh, I thought this was going to pop up there. How did that?
It's magic, Keith.
Oh.
They're trying to help you out. The great folks at Creators Clubhouse. They don't play around. They did what you said. They pulled it up for you. That's what it looks like.
Is this a reroute? We just finished this. I had my assistant. I said, make sure the URL is something speakable that I can speak. Oh, it's showing up on yours? Maybe it's on mobile only right now. All right, cool. I stood on stage at an event a couple years ago with text message marketing, and I threw it up. Everybody text this to this. I think there was like a...
There's a click here button.
Yeah, but this is actually just my main website. It's the wrong page. I don't know why it's...
It works on
It works on the phone, though?
I downloaded it and it works.
Okay. So I was like, everybody text this to this, and then I was able to get, I don't know, 101 out of 105 people. Boom. And then was able to communicate with them through text messaging. Okay, cool. That's all I got. I'll send you an email within a week, and then you can jump on a Zoom call, and I'll help you implement any of it if you want. Okay? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Naylor.
I appreciate you taking the trip down here for sure. A little warmer than Michigan, but not by much. I don't know what happened, but thank you very much. Great job.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.